Thank you for staying tuned. We're back. We're going to keep things moving forward. That was a terrific episode with Brother Arnold White and Joanne's Caribbean Restaurant. But listen, in this segment, special treat. This is a special segment, On the Road with Doc Pritchett. We have Doc Pritchett joining us, along with Ms. Bebe Coker, and of course, the lovely Shauna. Gang's all here.
Gang's all here.
Absolutely. Mr. Pritchett, how you doing today?
Oh, I feel great.
Great.
Absolutely great.
Listen, we just wanted to sit here and just be in your company, but this is your time, sir.
Yes, and I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to come on to the Pritchett Associates. I am so excited. I attended a great program last night over at 40th and Market, and the church there. It was just a wonderful program, and Ms. Bebe Coker invited my wife and I, and I tell you, it just brought tears to my eyes the way the performance of those individuals, the singing, and the acts that they performed. It was just outstanding. So I had a great evening Saturday night, and then to come here and be on the show with her today, this evening is even better. But more importantly, I'm again pushing parent involvement. Really am concerned about getting parents involved with coming into the schools, attending some of the events that our youngsters are involved in. For example, I went to the basketball games Friday night, Newark and Howard, at Newark High School. And one of my former students at Bancroft, Shannon McCants, is the head basketball coach. And the crowd, it was just tremendous, the number of people who came from Wilmington to see that show, his basketball program, and they won, of course. And one of the things that came to mind was that I want to start being able to give some of these parents, be the grandparents, grandfathers, whatever, to get a bus where we can take them down to see those youngsters play. And even the cheerleaders that they are raising at home, those youngsters need an opportunity for the adults to come out and see them. So I'm going to try to make an effort to provide a bus to get youngsters to have their parents to come to the games. And so that's one of the things I thought about sitting there Friday night.
Mr. Pritchett, can I interrupt you? Because I also think that's so important. As you were saying that, I can remember when I was in high school, and we were at the University of Delaware Stadium.
Yes.
And I remember, out of all those people, I saw my parents, my mother and father sitting there. I will never forget that. And then when I first started going to William Penn, I only went there 1 year, so I didn't know a lot of people.
Yes.
And I remember my uncle Carlton, came to one of the games, having no idea I was there. It didn't matter to me. I was like, thank you. You came. I'm like, you came to see me in the band. But it's a great feeling when you have someone from your family there to support you.
Absolutely. So that's, and of course I'm working on a lot of things with Bebe Coker, really dealing with community issues. So I'm just excited to continue to have this opportunity to come on here. Doc Speaks, and this is just a wonderful opportunity for me to share it with the parents. Please get involved. We have so many particular policies and procedures that are about to take place to help get this $75 million. So we need that parent input. So Dr. Lowry did a great presentation at the Christina Cultural Arts Center explaining everything. Now we need to follow up and support her by getting involved and joining the various committees in the different schools that are going to have to come up with this educational plan, which is also sponsored by the governor, Jack Markell. So again, with that in mind, I'm just want to keep the parents informed, and I'm going to continue to do that on a daily basis. So thank you so much for having me.
Yes. And the one thing that, when he was talking about the parent involvement, Michael, the one thing that I don't know why, but I guess I have this kind of weird mind anyway. There was an article recently in the News Journal, and it was talking about the auditor, with all due respect to Mr. Wagner, who was talking about that our school districts, the 19 school districts statewide, that Delaware is a very small state, and that we have too many school districts, et cetera, et cetera. Well, you know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out, and there are those of us who have been saying this over and over and over again. However, nobody's listening.
Right.
And the interesting thing about the article and the way that it was portrayed in the News Journal, everything was talked about in terms of teacher salary, in terms of the administration, whatever the doc from Colonial School District said. Everybody was talking about everything except the one thing that is very important, and that was school and learning and children. Nothing about that. No reason to talk about that we need to reduce the systems so that it might be better for the children, or we could add aides in classrooms to be able to help more children, or to better educate our teachers so that they would be better prepared to teach. Nothing about anything.
Right.
It was all about logistics and the finances for whose salary will match whose and all that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, you know what? We have been saying over and over again that children are first. I don't know whether children are first or not in this state, and we need to really come to grips with that. We really need to recognize that we are not a child-centered state, and that is one of our biggest problems.
You know, Bebe, that is so much the truth, what you're saying, and it's almost to the point for me personally where it's offensive.
It is.
It's like an end game that people are playing. But they're playing these end games, it appears to me, with children's futures.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like you said, Mr. Pritchett, and you as well, Bebe, this is no game. Our children need us.
Yes.
And they need advocacy from a humanistic standpoint. Don't dehumanize our children. These are our people, our blood, our relatives. Maybe that's the point. You know, we need to take a look at what do people have invested in our youth. You know, I know what your investment is. I know what your investment is. I know what your investment is. You know, it's from the heart.
And I think that also, being on this program, we have the opportunity to speak with a lot of educators. We've had the Harvest Christian Academy. We've had Christ Academy, and you see the impact that it has on an individual person when they do have that involvement, when there is that connection with the child.
With the child.
Exactly.
That's right.
And it's not like you can't say, well, we're not sure if it's going to work or if it's really necessary. Because you know it works, and you see the difference in those. Even when my nephew was here, and he had just started school. He had just started school. The difference between his first year where he went and his second year where he went was night and day. And it was just the involvement of the staff, the administrators, and it was just different.
Let me just say this, the irony of it all to me is that we will invest all this money in incarceration and institutions and fair school and all this kind of stuff. It costs 5 times as much to keep a prisoner and to keep a child in a youth detention center like a fair school than it does to educate a child properly. For the life of me, I cannot figure out why the powers that be and people that are supposed to be educated and smart and running our government can't see that. It's amazing to me.
Well, I tell you what, this is a very, very sensitive topic for me personally. We're going to do more and talk about this issue. And many more to come. As well, because that's why in the upper room recruited you, Dr.
Pritchett. Exactly.
Because we know that you know, we need to talk about prison prevention rather than simply reentry.
So in 2010, we look forward to having you on and sharing that news with us. We have to wrap up. So for everyone, we want to say Merry Christmas because we won't see you again until 2010.
Go
ahead.
At the count of 3, let's wish them all a Merry
Ready?
Christmas. 1, 2, 3.
Merry Christmas!